Welcome to episode 11.
Take two.
Take two, fitness.
So the health and fitness subject, I get asked this pretty often. And so Dave and I, as we were getting to know each other a year or so back, and we were going, or it was less than a year ago that we got to know each other, but we were riding, and I don't remember how it came up, but you had mentioned you had lost weight, more so than myself, but I had gone through a weight loss journey, and when you lose weight and actually keep it off for any duration, for me it's been 7 years, I think now, you end up having to adopt a new lifestyle, and so we wanted to discuss that because the OneWheel platform tends to attract a lot of people that are, we want to see more youth get into it. That's the point of this podcast. But the reality, though, is that it seems like much of the demographic, a large portion of it, is, say, 40 or older. And there's a lot of people 50 or older, which is where we fall.
Yeah.
So health, fitness, safety, these things have become critical. So why don't you launch off, Dave? What was your kind of journey, weight loss, fitness, health?
Well, for the longest time in my past position where I work, I travel for work. So I'd be, on the average flying between 150 to maybe 170 times a year. So on the road, hotels, not the best food to eat. Definitely I was more of a heavy...
No home-cooked meals in your hotel room?
Yeah, no, I didn't stay at any of those places where I was making my own.
You didn't have a private chef doing the Benihana thing?
It was all about convenience, and I really didn't care about, clean food. It was all just...
Well, an expense account. The company would pay for food,
right? The company was paying me a substantial amount daily to feed myself. So I took advantage of that and used almost every penny.
I would too. Don't feel guilty, man. I would do the same thing.
Growing up with, nothing, you tend to, like, when somebody hands you, they don't hand it you, you use your own credit card and you get reimbursed. But they allowed so much a day. So you definitely used up what you could. So, so I put on a ton of weight. When I first got the position, I was like right around 200 pounds, and a matter of maybe a year, I was up to about 325 pounds.
Oh, I didn't know it was quite.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was a big boy. So
But that was pure muscle, though, right? That was
a lot of pumping. Yeah. That was pure muscle there, Chicago style, right? Yeah, a lot of lard.
Chicago style.
Yeah.
A lot of bicep work.
A lot of bicep pizzas, whatever it took, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm grateful where I work, and to travel the Midwest and see what I got to see and try the food was amazing. So I can do that. But it was hard to lose all the weight. So after I changed positions, I really started to, eat better. And being back in a location, in a warehouse of, 147,000 square foot location, you're on your feet all the time. So I definitely put in between 18 to 22 or 23,000 steps a day. So I'm on the move. There's some days that I'm not hitting that because
and just
there's
so you know,
that's
going to be in the couple thousand calories a day of burning.
Those high days where you're hitting those 23, man, you're walking out feeling crippled. But I'm telling you, it's hard on you because they're all concrete floors. So good set of shoes. And definitely, what I've done is I've eaten, I started to change, of course, the way I eat, and which helped out. One of the things that I do daily is I use this Flav City. It's all-in-one protein smoothie pack. I actually put it in my coffee. It's 100% grass-fed whey, so it's all clean. It's by a guy named Bobby Parrish. He's got an app on you can get on Android and you can get on iOS. It's called Bobby Approved. That's something cool to check out. You can scan items where you're shopping. He'll tell you if it's good or bad. It's pretty cool. So I use that. I use creatine. I use 2 scoops of creatine a day, so 10 milligrams.
10 grams.
10 grams. Mm-hmm. 10 grams. Watch yourself with that. That'll make you
ease into creatine. You'll be in the bathroom a lot if you just suddenly start taking a bunch.
Or maybe not make it to the bathroom. Yeah. I have a right.
Maybe not. Okay, way too much information.
It hasn't happened to me, but I'm sure. So one thing I do have, our family has a what do you call it?
Dehydrator?
Yeah, not a dehydrator.
Freeze dryer?
Freeze dryer. Yeah. So we do a lot of freeze dried foods. So I do like.
He makes his own freeze dried foods, and they're awesome, by the way.
Yeah. So
I'm a fan, but I just don't make my own. I buy them. But
yeah, well, anytime you want me to make you some, I'm there. So I got some prunes in here. I got some kiwi. I got both kiwis. I got green kiwi and golden kiwi. These are really good. My son really devours those. I got. Bananas. Bananas are great. Again, you got to watch how many you take.
Have you done strawberries?
I do strawberries.
From Trader Joe's, I buy strawberries.
Yeah, we do a lot of strawberries. We slice them up. My son Owen, he pounds those down too probably every morning. They're good for you too. So, I mean, one thing that's best is that, you can take them to work. You don't have to worry about refrigerating them. You just, pop them in your mouth. Also, something I put in my coffee is I make my own mushroom additive that I put in my coffee. And this is just 100% lion's mane. So I go to a local store, Woodman's down the road, and they have some fresh lion's mane, which is pretty cool. They're actually grown over there in, over by Crystal Lake or something.
Okay.
So
local to us.
Local to us. So, and then I freeze dry those, and then I grind them up, and then I stick a spoonful of that in my coffee. I leave this in the fridge. So little old school AG1 spoon. I use that right there. And then I drink, a bunch of coffee. And then I really try to minimize so that's kind of somewhat of a meal right there. It's probably maybe 300 calories, and then I try not to eat anything for probably until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So
intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if this is kind of kicking off intermittent fasting. It might, but it's really low cal. It's clean. I don't eat these all the time. It's usually just my coffee situation. I'll take these to work, and then I'll snack on these after my fasting. But that's kind of what I do. You're on the go with this position, so you're really limited. You got to eat quick. So these kind of things are really nice, or a little protein bar. So that's what I usually do. That's what's kind of helping up, and I do fail on one thing of sometimes I come home because I work late and then I'll have a snack or a meal, but I try to really offset that by going longer the next day, based on how much I eat the night before. So that's me.
So it is amazing how much we have in common in a lot of areas. I mean, our personalities are very different in some ways, but we have a lot in common. And even discussing this, we mentioned Take Two the other day. I was here for 3 hours.
I know.
I didn't. I know. It was
felt
time
so
for
bad.
You to go.
No. I felt so
bad. Having me
bad
around for 3 hours is like having fish around for 3 days.
Well, it was nice because we had a really good discussion before we started filming, and
after filming too.
Yeah, and after filming, but. What happened is, again, Dave likes to try new stuff, and I was using a webcam to actually take the video. And the webcam that time was set up at 4K 60 seconds per frame, right? So it was a lot of data. And I have an old Mac computer that I'm using, iMac. And when I stopped the video after filming, it was still processing, and I didn't realize that it was doing that. So then I hit stop again, and we lost a lot of footage. And it didn't finish processing, so the footage that we had was very glitchy. It was like, and I tried to fix it, and there was no way. Yeah. So it was good-looking video. I'll be honest, it was sharp looking.
Well, it's the two of us. Come on.
Right.
I make you look good.
It was probably the most clearest video we've ever had. Okay. But it just was. Yeah, I failed on that part. So.
It was funny. Dave reaches out to me and he's like, "Oh, dude, I got bad news." And I'm like, "Who died? Did your house burn down?" Like it was. I could feel the depression coming through his text.
I've been depressed because of it too. Let me tell you.
But at the end, because Dave and I are both busy people. But at the end of the day, I think it ended up being a good thing because there were some things that I think both of us were like, "Oh, we could bring this up and we could change that." So my health journey. I hadn't gained as much weight as Dave had, but when I was a kid, so I don't know how deep I want to go into this, but so when I was a kid, I was bullied pretty horribly. I was really shy. I know that seems odd to hear from me now. I was super shy, didn't say a word, and so I got bullied pretty bad. And then so I stayed at home a lot because I was bullied so much. And then being at home a lot, my mom ate, there was a lot of snacks in the house. My mom preferred snacks. She still does. So I ended up gaining some weight. So I got teased, which made it worse and whatever. So then in my teens, I started, my parents called it starving myself, but I was actually a trendsetter. I was doing intermittent fasting in my teens. But see, this was back, I'm 54, so this would have been in the 80s. Back then, if you skipped a meal, especially early in the day, that was bad. Breakfast, the most important meal of the day.
Exactly.
Now we know, actually not, because there's a few things, something called the dawn phenomenon, which means your body has to start waking up, which means the liver injects glucose into your bloodstream to wake you up. So your blood sugar level goes up, and it usually stays up till between 10:30 and maybe 11 or 11:30 for most people. So if you eat breakfast, you are turbocharging your blood sugar.
Yeah.
So breakfast is actually bad for you in some ways. If you have a very active job and you're just lethargic in the morning, you may need to eat a breakfast. So, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Consult your doctor. There's our disclaimer.
There you go.
But from a blood sugar standpoint, it's better to start eating maybe around noon. Well, as a teenager, I would starve myself. I wouldn't eat anything until dinner. And then I gave myself a reward, which would be one sweet thing, one cookie, one scoop of vanilla ice cream with no topping, one of something. And that was my reward for making it through the day. And so I suddenly became trim as a teenager. And then I started weightlifting, mainly because I am just a naturally weak person. And so strength doesn't come easy for me. And so I started weightlifting and in my teens and into my early 20s. And I don't know, I had a small amount of additional muscle. You could tell that I was either weightlifting or that I was semi-athletic. But no matter how hard I trained for years trying to get big, because I had a few friends that were big, it never worked for me. But I did get a little stronger. I had enough muscle tone or shape to me that I looked okay. Well, then fast forward, I get married and we're raising kids. My wife developed some health issues, so she couldn't work. So all the financial load was then on me, and it was stressful. And knowing that she had these health issues that nobody could figure out what they were, and she still struggles daily with these same health issues, I had a lot of stress, a lot of worry. A lot of people do. I'm not the only one. A lot of people have worry. But I just was putting on weight. And so I, at my peak, I was 206. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, whatever, it's nothing. And I get it. I wasn't like morbidly obese or anything. But at 5'9" and a half, I think is what my height is, just under 5'10". 206 meant, and I didn't have much muscle tone by that point in my life. I was no longer working out, so it was all in my stomach. And I remember seeing a picture of myself, and it was an unflattering picture. It was kind of taken from the bottom up, and my neck looked thick, and I was, around the middle and rosy cheeks, and I thought I looked like Santa Claus. This is ridiculous. So it was about 7 years back. I started losing weight, and it started with me because I got sick. I was sick for about a week, couldn't eat anything, and by the time I was well, I had lost 6 or 7 pounds or 8 pounds, whatever it was, and my stomach had shrunk because I couldn't eat anything.
Yeah.
And so I took advantage of that, which is one little tip. I always take advantage of any life circumstance like that. 8 days ago, I had a tooth extracted, a molar, and so I couldn't eat anything for a few days. And when I did, it was just liquid.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm down about 5 pounds. And it's not water weight because I've been eating the last couple days. So I went from about 190 to, from 190 to 184. As of this morning, I'm at 185. I've restabilized. So
that's good.
But the weight that I lost, I went from 206 to 162. Now, bear in mind, I had very little muscle on me at the time, and so I was pretty scrawny, but I lost the weight too quickly. Skin was sagging. I had a bit of a gray complexion.
Yeah, that Ozempic face back in the day, huh?
Yeah, it was not good. So several people were like, "Man, you look terrible. You look terrible," and I did. So I hit the gym and I put on some muscle weight and a little bit. I was too thin. There's what I've been told is your set point, which is a point at which your body wants to be at from a weight standpoint. For me, it's like the mid 170s at that stage in my life, because it was real easy to get from 206 to like 180. Well, I'll say it this way. Your first 10 pounds comes off easy, then there's a plateau. Then you get through the plateau. The second 10 pounds, pretty easy. Then there's a plateau, and it's hard to get through that second plateau. But I was able to get down to the 175 without too much struggle. Going from 175 to 162 was nearly impossible. And I was basically eating nothing and exercising while hungry just to try to force my weight down. And finally, someone told me about this whole set point thing. They're like, look, your set point's probably in the 170s somewhere. Yeah. Let your body go back up there and maintain there. So I did that, and then hitting the gym, I put on, I don't know, 8 pounds or 10 pounds of muscle or something. So low 180s-ish is my ideal. Probably 182 is where I feel best. I've got a 132 or 130. I've got a 32-inch waist, which is great. I love that. But what that does mean is if I put a few pounds on, it really shows up in my gut because my waist is small, so I get the muffin top thing. So I have to focus on that. And what I found, though, is how good I feel.
Oh, yeah.
There was a period of time where just standing up, so bear in mind, I was in my 40s when I lost this weight. So previous to that, I remember being in my 30s and I'd stand up and it was this, oh, yeah. And I'd sit down, like this. And I thought, well, this is ridiculous. I've got old man syndrome and I'm not old yet. But a lot of that was just being out of shape. Yeah. I'd walk down the street, my mailbox is a block away. I'd walk down the street to get my mail and I'm huffing. I'd walk home and it was ridiculous. So hitting the gym was really good. And I got to tell you, it's been life-changing in a lot of ways. And my weight has ping-ponged back and forth. I've been back up in the low 190s, and I've been back down in the 170s. Like I say, right now I'm in the mid 180s. I hope to get that down to 180 or 182 and kind of hover there. I brought this up in the Lost podcast, but my dad, he had said, when you're in your 20s, you exercise to impress the chicks. In your 30s, you exercise to keep up with your buddies in their 20s. And this stuff I found to all be true, by the way. In your 40s, you exercise because you're starting to recognize there's some value in it. Maybe by then you're in your career and you're going through some of the stuff we went through. In your 50s, you exercise because you recognize that functionally, you really can't get through the day very well if you don't. Yeah. In your 60s, you exercise because you can't move if you don't. Right. And in your 70s, you exercise so that you're not dead. Yeah. That's what my dad told me. He's now in his 80s. My mom is pushing 80. And, both he and several other people have also told me that the fitness level that that you achieve when you're younger, you can carry into your older years. But if you start, like if you become fit in your 30s, you're benching 200 or whatever, and you're running a mile a day, whatever that level of fitness is for you, if you keep up with it, you can maintain much, if not most of that, even into your 70s. I mean, eventually you lose most of it, but you can carry a lot of that into like your 70s. But if you decide to start at 65 or 70 years old and you go, well, I need to lose 80 pounds, and I can only bench 50 pounds. I want to bench 200. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, but unless you're on steroids, which would kill you at that age, it just ain't going to happen. Yeah. Get it off your mind. But you can carry that into your older years.
Absolutely. Keep conditioning,
Keep conditioning. So that's kind of a brief history for me. Now, from a daily standpoint, and I do intermittent fasting as well. The first meal of the day, I eat typically at about 1 p.m., the longer I wait, it's almost like a reward for me, the better I feel. Oh, one thing, too, I didn't bring this up in the last podcast, but I just remembered on my way over here. There is a so when this came up, I was thinking about this in thinking about the intermittent fasting. Of course, now my mind is wandering. I am truly getting old. So, well, anyway, I'll come back to that. So, yeah, take some lion's mane. So my daily regimen, so my first meal of the day is typically between 1 and 2 in the afternoon, and usually I start the day. Now this is AG1. This is not a product placement thing. I buy this. I just found that I like it. There's plenty of other products out there, and I know AG1 has recently gone up in price. I haven't bought it in a while. I just had a bunch, and I'm going through it. So, but they have different flavors now too. But at the time, a few years ago, all the green mixes that I found were pretty disgusting. AG1 was the only one that tasted decent. So I have a couple of my homemade concoctions here that I consume daily. So this is AG1, but I also add creatine. Same thing, 10 to maybe 15 grams of creatine powder a day. I get my creatine. It's creatine monohydrate, in case you're curious exactly what it is. And it's not a drug. It's not even really a supplement. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound in red meat. And all human beings have it in their body. When you take creatine, you're just increasing the amount that you get, and it's just condensed out of probably animal product or plant product, but it's a natural thing. I get it from bulk supplements online. What creatine does is it moves water and protein from your digestive system, from your body, into the protein-based parts of your body, which would be muscles and brain. So what it does is it aids in muscle growth, both in size and performance, and cognitive ability. I mentioned my dad is in his 80s. We got my dad taking creatine daily, and he said he has a marked, noticeable improvement in his memory. So creatine is good stuff. Research it. Both Dave...
keeps you hydrated,
Well, yeah, it keeps you hydrated. Now, you will put on a couple pounds of water weight because it keeps you hydrated. Both Dave and I have gotten our wives on creatine as well. My wife is very hesitant to try anything I suggest because my body responds opposite of hers in most things. So creatine, good stuff. So I put in creatine, AG1. I put in a couple drops of liquid iodine. I have the only real chronic health issue that I have, it's genetic for me, is an underactive thyroid. You can research Hashimoto. My sister has Hashimoto. I think I have a touch of it. It's just I have underactive thyroid, so a small amount of iodine helps that. Too much iodine hurts it. A small amount helps it. And then I put in here a a powder electrolyte, and then sometimes there's an additional not really electrolyte, but nutrient powder that my wife has that I occasionally add as well. So that is this. This is viscosity is like water because it's mostly water. But so I drink this. Oh, also I may even drink this in the morning. I don't think there's enough calories in this to truly break your fast necessarily, but I do drink that in the morning at times. I haven't drank any this morning, but and then in this is my own kind of personal concoction. So I begin with overnight oats. I take rolled oats, and you don't want whole oats. They're just like a seed. They're a hard thing. So I take rolled oats, and I put this is a ball jar. I think it's a 16-ounce jar, so that would make it 2 cups. So I put about 40% in this, so a little less than a cup of rolled oats, and then I fill it up near the neck with whole milk. It's another thing. Dave and I are both
whole milk
believers in whole milk. High calories, but high nutrient dense and good protein.
Good fat for you.
Yeah, it's the good fat. Fat is not your enemy. Fat is not your enemy. Glucose in your blood is the enemy. So I fill it most of the way to the neck with whole milk, let it sit overnight. Every night I do this. It's a religious thing for me. Then in the morning, it has soaked. Now, I could always just eat this with a spoon, and sometimes I will, just soaked oats. But what this in particular is that in the morning, then I take out our high-speed blender. We have a Vitamix, overpriced thing, but it is powerful.
That's good.
So I pour in this whole jar of soaked oats, which by the time the morning has hit, the oats have reached the neck. They swell up with the milk. I pour it into the Vitamix blender. Any high-speed blender will work. Then I fill this back up. I usually will put 3 or 4 tablespoons of heavy cream in and fill it the rest of the way with whole milk. So it is very creamy. Shake it to kind of clean out any pithiness from the jar. Pour it back into the blender. So now I've got 2 of these, or about 4 cups in the blender. I put 2 large raw eggs in. And then I also put some honey, probably 2 or 3 tablespoons of honey, some vanilla extract just for flavor. And then I blend it very high speed for probably a solid 60 seconds to try to liquefy it as much as possible. The oats, there is still oat powder. I can see it at the bottom when I tip the jar, so you got to shake it before you drink it. So the oats do still stay a little pithy. But this, and then before I drink it, sometimes I'll put a little bit of liquid stevia for sweetener in. Stevia is an herb, so it does not cause a glucose response in the blood, but it tastes as close to sugar as any other artificial sweetener I've yet tried. So I put a little of that in here, shake it up, and this, everyone says this and they're lying, but this is true. This tastes very close to a milkshake. I haven't drank anything out of this. I should give you some to try. It tastes like a milkshake with, it's almost like you drink orange juice, and if there's some pulp in it, it's orange juice with a little texture. This is like a milkshake with texture. There's a tiny bit of pith in it from the oatmeal, but it tastes very close to a milkshake. So this jar, though, is probably, I did the math yesterday after we were talking about it. There's probably 400 calories in this jar, so it's not low calorie, but it's not like I drink the whole thing down. I'll drink like half of it. By the time I'm done blending, I end up with 2.5 to 3 of these full jars, and that keeps me for a few days. So I may go through a whole jar in a day, but not in a sitting. This is a little less than half. This might be what I consume all at once. And oats, I usually don't cook oats. They're better raw. If you cook them, you're breaking down the complex carbs into simple carbs. That's why cooked oats are sweeter than raw, and it ends up giving you a glucose response in the blood. So eat oats not cooked. Eat them raw. Quaker Quick Oats in a bowl with some milk and maybe a scoop of jam or something else, a couple bananas pieces on there, and let it soak in for a few minutes. That's a good breakfast. Power breakfast. And it gives you energy for about 4 or 5 hours without a crash afterward. And oats are great because if you eat a small amount, we talked about this before, it hits your stomach and it will swell up. So it will fill you up. So this little bit, couple hundred calories in here, if I drink that down, I may think, geez, I want more. But inside of 10, 15 minutes, it's like, oof, wow, I'm full. Because it swells up.
Don't overdo it, huh?
Yeah, so those are kind of my secrets. And I am a protein person. I eat a lot of eggs, a lot of fish. I love smoked fish. I average probably 6 or 8 ounces of fish pretty much every single day. And and then and a lot of vegetables. I am a raw veggie junkie, and I have to dip into something. I can eat raw veggies as they are, but they're too bitter. I really like hummus. And hummus is just basically pureed bean dip, and very low calorie, very good for you. And so we'll cut up raw veggies and I'll dip them in hummus and eat that. Some of this is an acquired taste, but even the junk food we eat is an acquired taste. So once you acquire a taste, start eating healthy. And do it for a couple of weeks. I'm not talking a day. Give it a couple of weeks. You will acquire a taste for it. Like, I hated carrots. I love carrots now. Because I'm like, they're good for me. I'm going to eat them.
Yeah, celery, carrots, cucumber.
Carrots, cucumber. I love...
high fiber.
Yes. I love cold and moist, and cucumber gives me that. I was telling Dave, when I lost weight, I made a list of what do I like about food, because I'm a food addict. I think we could probably both say that. I understand addiction to a limited extent, and food addiction is rough because you can't quit.
Oh no.
You know, if you can quit smoking, you can quit shooting up or whatever. I mean, not that that's easy to do. Please, any addicts that I have huge respect for people who have gotten through addiction.
Yeah.
So please understand me when I say that I don't mean it's nothing to quit. But the point is, if you're smoking or you're shooting up, that's not something you need to do to survive. You need to eat to survive. So you can't quit eating the way you quit smoking. You don't have to breathe soot to exist. That's an unnatural thing. Injecting into your veins is an unnatural thing. Popping pills is an unnatural thing, but you have to eat. So, so it's very hard to get on top of eating. Here's what I forgot I was going to say before. There's two forms of hunger. This is something I had to learn. There's stomach hunger and there's throat hunger.
Oh, throat hunger.
So stomach hunger is your body going, I really feel like that cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. Give me, give me, give me. That is your desire, is stomach hunger. Your need for nutrients is throat hunger. Now that I've said it, Dave and I have never discussed this.
Yeah.
Now that I've said it, you'll notice this. So every day at 10:30, so let's see here, it is 9:30. I can feel it just starting, but every day at about 10:30, I get massively hungry for 45 minutes every single day. Stomach hunger.
Yeah.
My stomach, I mean, horrifically, right at 10:30, and it lasts till 11:15 every single day. It's stomach hunger. Then it goes away. And right about 1 p.m., 1:30, I feel the hunger, but and now this is subtle, but if you know to look for it, you'll find it. I'm hungry kind of in my throat, my esophagus. So I tell people, don't eat because you feel like eating. Eat because you're hungry, but ignore the stomach hunger. The stomach hunger is purely desire.
It goes away,
Yeah, and it goes away. Listen to the throat hunger. And so that's a secret. Now, for snacks, I brought a bag. This happens to be a Trader Joe's brand, but this is a knockoff of Pirate's Booty. So this is just, they call it corn puffs, but this is, I forget the exact composition, but, you can get packing material that's biodegradable that you can actually eat.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called. I don't know. If I look it up, maybe we'll put it on the screen. But this is that puffed, like rice, whatever material that then has a cheese flavor, and you can get it in different. You can get it in fruity flavors too, which I don't like. But this stuff's great because you can have a huge bowl of it. It's mostly air with like cheese powder, so it tastes like cheese, and I like it about as much as I like popcorn. So you can go through a bunch of this stuff, and there's very few calories.
Yeah.
The only downside is this is the opposite of oatmeal. You eat a little oats and it swells up in your stomach and makes you feel full. You eat a lot of this and it shrinks in your stomach and you can't tell it's there. But it gives you that taste and that I need to munch, especially for watching a movie.
Yeah.
We break out a bowl of this stuff. Veggie straws, something you can get at Trader Joe's too, low calorie. And that's another thing too. One thing to satiate hunger is just a little bit of salt. Be cautious if you have high sodium, but most people, sodium gets a bad rep, and it's not as bad as people think. But I will at times just put a tiny bit of salt in the palm of my hand, lick my tongue, and dab and put it on my tongue. That saltiness will satiate hunger, especially the stomach hunger. It will get me through that about 20 minutes worth. It'll make it go away. So those are some little secrets that I've found. I walk typically 2 miles a day, and I try to target it right after I eat my first meal because my A1C was high. It was at 6.2, which is pre-diabetic. And everything we tried, I went straight carnivore, and my A1C was still high because your liver will kick in and produce glycogen, and that glycogen spikes your blood sugar, so your A1C can go up even if you're carnivore.
Yeah.
Especially if you exercise hard while hungry, you will stimulate your liver to produce glycogen. So, what I've learned is I will eat, then go for a walk, and if you walk immediately after eating for a minimum of 10 minutes really, but 20 minutes is good. Anything more is just a benefit. What you're doing is you're walking, and it's a modest walk, not a real brisk walk. You want to walk at a rate that your body is burning the glucose from your meal as it gets released into the bloodstream. And that for me is about a 3 mile per hour walking pace. So call it 40-minute walk or something to get through 2 miles. And so I do that after I eat, and within about a 3-week span, my blood sugar, my A1C went from 6.2 to 5.3. Normally that takes 3 months. People are going to comment, you can't do it in a few weeks. You can. So now I'm at the low 5s, 5.2, 5.3. And that's just from walking after every meal.
Nice.
So that's my whole journey. So Dave and I don't want to say we hold each other accountable or anything, but we do discuss this periodically.
Yeah.
And so very cool stuff, very cool stuff. The freeze-dried stuff, I get freeze-dried strawberries from Trader Joe's. They're cheap, a couple bucks for a bag. And, they're very similar to the marshmallows in Lucky Charms. They got that same texture. Not as sweet, but they are still relatively sweet. So I'll put them on cereal. Usually cereal for me is homemade granola. My wife you guys make your freeze-dried stuff. My wife makes homemade granola. We'll swap.
There you go.
And so I'll have some of our homemade granola, or I'll have some soaked oats with some banana, and then I'll throw, right before I eat it, I'll throw the freeze-dried fruit on there, usually strawberries, because they'll get soggy a little bit quicker than the Lucky Charms marshmallows will, but it's got that same kind of dried crunchiness that's a memory of the Lucky Charms, and still enough fruity flavor that it's sort of an extra treat on cereal. So that's a bunch of secrets for you guys of what we do. I still exercise a lot. I do 100 push-ups a day. I curl a 50-pound welded together thing that I made. I curl that every day. I press over my head and do a tricep extension and down. And so I'll do, 25 of those a day. So there's other exercises that I do also, but I think it's important to, everybody that's our age is out of shape, like across the board. And so when I was in my teens, all my buddies were more athletic than me. Now in my 50s, I look better than they do, and I'm more athletic and healthier. They all have a row of medications that they're on and all that, so that I don't have to deal with that. So it's good. It's good. My wife struggles with her health issues, so I want to be as healthy as I can be to provide for her. So
cool.
So that's that.
What's up with TechRails?
So TechRails update. I just shared something with Dave a couple minutes before we started that is a brand new thing as of this morning. And let me see if I've got anything that is late and breaking. Buster Boren just sent me a message. Let's see here. I will read this. I love getting messages from Buster. Blessings. Blessed translates to happy. So God bless you, as loosely translated to God give you happiness. So God bless you and your family. I can't help but wonder about your tooth. How's that doing? So healing up really, really well. Thanks, Buster. And but nothing on the product update that I was sharing before. But so I'll bring that up first, and then I'll get into other stuff. So as of this morning, I have been talking with Mason Fage. He is the designer and manufacturer of Force Flows footholds. And I have been struggling for the toe jam footholds. The metal foot stop, I think, is perfection. I love that thing. The plastic top hook is like 75% of what I really wanted in a top hook, but we were trying over and over and over to try to make that more organic shaped and cover over the foot a little bit further in that, and we just struggled to do it. The couple CAD guys that I have are really good at more mechanical shapes than organic shapes. Multi-angled and curved convex shapes are a different skill set in CAD. And so so I reached out to Mason because I like the fact that the Force Flows are really molded to the shape of the foot.
Yeah.
I like that he has the durable printing figured out, and so I reached out to him about not making a whole new foothold, starting with our metal foot stop, which I think that ain't changing. I love that thing. Starting with our metal foot stop, but making a new organic shaped plastic 3D printed with his method top foothold in sort of the Force Flows flavor.
Yeah.
So we haven't worked out the details as far as logistics and all that, and it may take some time. He spent, I understand, over a year designing the Force Flows. It is not an easy thing. I know OneWheel Parts said getting an organic shape to follow the foot. Brad said it was one of the hardest projects they ever worked on.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy task. Don't expect it to be tomorrow, but also don't expect that. Well, I'm coming out with a whole new foothold and hold off on buying toe jams. Go ahead and buy toe jams because the metal foot stop isn't changing. That's not changing.
Right.
So, but the plastic top hook, and it will be reverse compatible with all of the toe jams metal bases. You'll be able to buy it and add it on, and I hope to just include it as a new design top hook with the toe jams kit. So I'm working out the details with Mason on that. Thumbs up to Mason. And this flows from everybody should, I think, work together in the aftermarket. Stay in your own lane. I found that I'm great with the mechanical billet aluminum stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of staying in my lane there. And really high-end billet products, that's my mainstay. And Mason seems to be the one that has the organic shaped footholds figured out right now. So I want to kind of leverage his ability, and I think he's excited to work with me, an unknown name, and I think that my name can help bolster the popularity of his products, and vice versa. He's known as being the guy with the organic shape, shaped like the footholds, so that I think it'll lend some legitimacy to my toe jams, and my company name can lend some added legitimacy to him as well. And so I think we can work well together that way.
Nice.
So that's that. Other TechRail's products updates are the billet foot pads are basically done. I just got a couple minor revisions, final production revisions from Tom, my primary CAD guy, just this morning. So those are going into production, and you can put a sensor on it, or you can use a magnetic sensor or activation switch, however you want to word that, and then stud the surface with my proprietary titanium studs. And I'm working with Taylor Filkins from Indie Speed he has already in production a magnetic activation switch.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be getting a couple from him, and hopefully we'll make a version that will just screw right down to my billet foot pad, like plug and play. Screw it down, run the wire, you're done, it works. But and I'm also working on kind of my own, but I don't know that I want to market it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Taylor makes his, so I think that I'm going to work with him and potentially offer it with my foot pads. So you can put a sensor down over the threaded holes if you want, totally fine. If you want to do that, and then grip tape over the sensor. Or you could run a magnetic activation switch. Or if you really want like a fail-safe type of thing, you could have both.
Yeah.
So those are going into production with the wider wings to have either an offset foot stance, or if you just have big feet and need more coverage.
Some more pad.
More pad?
Pad right on.
Yep. Next would be chassis harness. So for those of you that don't know, I've got a guy that is... he is government certified to be doing wiring, like automotive wiring and that, and he's, per my specs, is manufacturing. We're just about done with we're done with the design, just about done with the prototyping of a chassis harness. I was going to bring one part to show you another time, but chassis harness for the GT that you can put right on a stock Future Motion board, but if you're a DIY person, you can use it as well, but it has all the normal GT connectors. It's 1 inch longer than a stock GT harness, so it'll work on an XL, or if you're building an extra long board, whatever you want, you're welcome to use it. But designed for direct bolt-in for the Future Motion boards. It has the highest quality connectors you can get. The XT60s, we're going to a higher grade XT60. I forget what the exact model number of that is, but a higher grade XT60 for higher current handling. We're going to very fine strand power wire. That fine stranding is essentially will pass more current and makes the harness more pliable, so it's not so stiff. It will be RF shielded with woven brass sheathing underneath the protective sheathing. So RF shielded, and it will be the outermost sheathing. It will be waterproof, so there will be multiple sheathing to it. The wires will pass through a clear plastic sheathing that will have the woven brass RF shielding around that. Then there'll be another waterproofing sheathing, and then over the top of that will be a woven. Each of these sheaths is thin, so it's not, but over that then will be a woven decorative and abrasion-resistant protective sheath that, again, it's woven, and it'll actually be woven in multicolors, so it'll look like plaid, kind of like different colored diamonds as you go the length of the harness. So it'll look really cool.
Nice.
And then we'll have heat shrunk at the wrists of the harness, little heat shrink labels that'll have the TechRail's logo on them. The cable glands. So the GT uses like a nylon or whatever high density plastic cable gland, and they're actually pretty good. I like them. And then the XR uses a metal cable gland, and a lot of the aftermarket harnesses, I know the Indy Speed harness uses the metal cable glands, and those are great. We started researching that, and we found a manufacturer that makes, so most of those glands are, I believe, a chromed brass. So they're durable, they're weather resistant, they have a little bit of weight to them. So we found a manufacturer that makes a replica of those in aluminum. I was going to bring one to toss to you. I handed it to my wife. I'm like, feel this. She goes, good grief. She goes, it's a chunk of metal. She said, I thought this was going to weigh a ton. Is that plastic?
Super light.
It is ultra light. They're aluminum, but I mean, they feel plastic. They are super light, but durable. They're the same exact design as the heavyweight chromed brass cable glands that we're used to, but they're aluminum. So I think I'm going to send a couple to Chris Logo to see if we can maybe have them anodized in cool colors. They come polished aluminum, but it might be cool if I could get them in red or gold or blue or whatever. So this is going to be the highest end wire harness that you can possibly make. All of the signal connectors are this high grade, I guess some German company makes the highest grade connector. The guy making the prototype's like, I don't want to use the standard cheap plastic connectors you can get on Amazon or whatever.
Right.
He's like, it's going to take me weeks to get them from Germany, but I'm getting the good ones. So I expect to have those done soon, but that's a necessity because you can't get the harness without getting a whole battery module from Future Motion, which, by the way, as a sidebar, it's pretty inexpensive for a battery module. I just got to throw that out there. Battery module, which is battery, BMS, box, and harness, is $850 from Future Motion. Not a bad price. So, but the problem is you can't get just the harness.
Yeah, you can't piece it out.
Right, you can't piece it out. So everybody knows that we are basically done with the design for our billet aluminum battery box for the GT. We've got 2 production-ready prototypes that are done being machined at the machine shop. They'll be shipping to me soon. The controller box, the design is done. I'll have printed prototypes in hand later today. And then those we're going to rush to prototyping because they're behind the battery boxes. I want to get them similar timing. So then we'll have our own connective harness. So you should be able to buy a battery housing, a controller housing, and a connecting harness for a GT, complete module assembly that is a complete replacement for FM boards. If you've got a GT, GTS, GTXL, whatever, you can take your battery, your BMS, your controller out and put them right in my boxes. There is a method to the madness. You have to keep the BMS plugged into your battery and remove them as a unit or you'll brick your board. But you will be able to use, this is a replacement boxes and chassis harness for FM. And I have all the standard FM mounts. But the battery box will, it's opened up both the lid. We have provided clearance at the edges for the popular 20S2P packs that are out there. And the guys that have made these fit know what I mean. You got to grind away this edge in the lid to make it fit. and you have to provide clearance in the box. You have to remove the BMS wall, some bosses. You have to do a bunch of stuff in the box. You have to make clearance for a GX16 charge connector. All that work is done in the box. So the factory battery and BMS and all that fit right in there, but you can also fit the 20S2P popular batteries that are out there as well. Direct fit into the box. We are not marketing our own BMS battery or anything like that. You guys can use your stock stuff or source whatever you want, but we're making the boxes and the chassis harness.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that. There are a couple other things, but nothing huge. The 12/8 rails are, they're done. All the new specs are at the manufacturer. I'm like, make these changes. Plenty of clearance for the tire, plenty of strength. Very, very strong rails. And so those we're getting in 357 and 757 angles. So that's that. I think that is all the updates. We do have production for race season is underway. I've already gotten halos. I have Pint XR and GT halos in stock. So they're in stock, ready to ship. And my wheels and rails and all the other stuff, that's coming, a batch here and a batch there over the next month to 2 months.
Nice.
So for inventory, so that's where we're at there.
Well, one of the topics that I've noticed on social media, mostly Facebook, was VESC remotes. And I did a little research on them, because I don't use a VESC remote because I don't have a VESC board. You got maybe a couple VESC boards.
Yeah, I've got a few VESC boards, but I haven't gotten into the remotes
So
yet.
there's been, talk about, remotes or non-remotes, or is it is a remote like a cheat device, to help, go over items or, go over, a tabletop jump or get that.
Remotes are generally used to
raise the nose.
You can activate the remote by hand to raise the nose artificially before you hit a feature. So you don't have to wait for gradient tracking to kick in. And
so you can, those remotes are kind of cool. I was talking to Billy Shredder about, what do you have your remote do? And he gave me, you can raise and lower the nose, It does have display on the actual remote for voltage, so you can kind of figure out your battery percentage from where you're at and where you stand while you're riding. It gives you, one thing that's kind of cool, it gives you motor temp, right? So that's kind of nice, especially for the
so you don't have to be staring at your expensive cell phone that you're going to drop when you crash.
Yeah, exactly. And, one of the main remotes that you can get on Amazon, and I'll throw a bunch of pictures I took off of Amazon, but it's called Flipski, and seems to be the most common one. They've got an install video on how to install it, which is kind of cool, if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm going to stay away because I like this plug and play myself. Easy peasy. But, and there's been if you go on the Aboveboard group page, there's a lot of comments about the VESC remotes, because I prompt up a topic that we're going to talk about. So go on there and look at those comments. A lot of yays and nays. So I don't know if they're, I guess Buster said that they need to be on their own race league, honestly.
It does provide it is kind of a benefit. It provides an edge for people. It really does. And so So I kind of agree that it is a benefit. I haven't gotten into it for a number of reasons. Number one, I am still a little bit of an FM guy. Now nearly all of my boards are VESC at this point, but that's just because I like screwing around with the settings. But I've got a totally stock XRC. I mean stock grip tape, everything, no footholds, totally stock. I've got a stock Pint X, and then I've got an XR that is modified mechanically but stock electrically. And anyway, I've got another stock Pint. So I just sold a GT, all stock FM electronics and stuff. And so I do like the plug and play nature of Future Motion boards, and the stuff has gotten, the GTS and the XL are just awesome to ride. Pro level riders even are like, yeah, this is actually a really good board. So they're good. But for the VESC thing, I still haven't gotten into remotes yet. But I'm sure I'll dabble in it. If nothing else, I need to understand more about it, being in the industry.
Yeah.
But it's just not something I've gotten into, but it doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah. Well, they run about $86 to $87 on Amazon, so
Yeah.
gotta get yourself one.
Yeah, I got to get one and mess with it.
The next thing, we're going to do a rider shout out. Billy Shredder, we just brought up his name about the remotes, but pretty cool guy. He's got definitely some great Instagram videos on there and some Facebook stuff. A little history about, he's been riding for 6 years. He only rides VESC, so he's definitely, I know he builds VESC boards. He is sponsored by a company called Flight Fins. You might know him. So
Flight,
and he does a lot of cool jumps with Flight Fins too.
I think I've heard of Flight
I mean, he does some stunts just like you're on a skateboard. I mean, he does some ollies and some, grab the nose, grab the back tail. He does some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
so
he rides a one-wheel like a pro skateboarder would ride a skateboard. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You might see old Billy at Dirt Surfers, and I'm thinking it's probably Arkansas and Eureka. He's probably going to go there. I mean, hopefully he shows up at both, the one in Windman. So again, he rides one board, but he has enough parts to build 6 boards. So, and then his favorite tire that he uses is a Hoosier.
Yep, yeah, he's a Hoosier guy for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shout out to Billy. Again, I will post his Instagram page. I'll put a bunch of little videos on there and some pictures of him doing some of his cool stuff that he does. So
I think I want to skip the product shout out and giveaway from this video. We'll do it next one just because for time reasons, so we can get into answering questions and would you ride this and that. But next week you can tune in because we'll be doing, I think you'll like next week's giveaway and product shout out. But again, for the interest of time. So we got a couple of interesting questions that were asked. And the one that Dave latched onto, and I wanted to answer this. I read the thread that this was about was that Garth, I think Lucius, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, had asked about the billet foot pads that have the openings on the front, the air cooling openings on the front. Do they introduce water? Do they increase the chance of water intrusion? And you guys can go on the OneWheel Facebook groups. I don't know if it was on the OneWheel GT forum or group, but page. But
I was on the OneWheel VESC Builders page. Okay,
OneWheel VESC Builders page. Look up that discussion there. And there were a bunch of responses to it. I hesitate to respond on a lot of those because I'm biased.
Yeah.
But this was a question that came up back when I started making open rails. Was dirt or water intrusion, and I like a lot of the answers. And basically, what the bulk of the answers is number one, you're going to get water in there anyway. One wheel is not waterproof, at least not foot pad to rail and bumper to foot pad. There's gaps everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and there's a big old opening in the bumper at the LED light anyway.
Yeah, it's not sealed.
It's not sealed. It's open. There's a 1/4 inch wide, 6 inch long gap right at the LED. It's a big old scoop anyway. So the reality is, yes, moisture can get in there, but it can also escape.
Yeah, with your rails, you can evacuate the water. I mean, it's not like a regular rail. It's gonna hold it in the actual rail part.
Yeah, water
and it's gonna go
mud
through
and stuff will get packed in there. The open rails are cool because what goes in can come out.
Yeah.
And and the reality is if you're waterproofing or badgering your board, that means that you're going to be sealing up the controller lid, the cable gland, the power button, all those areas, the charge port, at the battery box lid and all of that. So it's the modules that get waterproofed, not the rail to foot pad and bumper to foot pad junction.
Right.
So no, it's not an issue. Again, I'm biased here, but the reality is when I made those, initially I was going to make 3D printed little plugs that can go in there that when you have the foot pad off, they would key in and plug down into each of those notches to seal it off if you wanted to. And I mentioned this, and not a single person has ever asked me for them. And in fact, just a bunch of people gave pushback about it, and they're like, hey, you're completely eliminating the benefit of having them open.
Yeah.
You want
Goes off your
airflow
board.
through there.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that people don't know, or may not know, is that front foot pad, which the rear foot pad, you don't need as much, but the front foot pad is what's encountering the air, so it's scooping it in. There is a gap. It's I think it's two millimeters between the top of the controller lid and the bottom of all the zigzag supports underneath our billet foot pad.
Yeah.
So, because I've had people say, well, even though you have openings in the front there, it's just going to block the airflow because the foot pad rests on top of the controller lid. No, there's a couple, I think it's a 2 millimeter, if I remember correctly, gap between the controller lid and the foot pad, so air does indeed pass through. Any water doesn't get trapped in there. It flows right through and runs right off. Yeah. And also for our new billet controller box, the lid is finned. There's straight fins that then go to the angle. So air comes in, goes across the straight fins, and then are encouraged to eject out the side of the foot pads. And that's why the foot pads are designed the way they are, was looking forward to this box. The controller box also has fins on the bottom for some cooling as well of the controller. So yeah, that was actually a great question though. And I don't, even though the answer is no, it doesn't trap water, it's not a bad question. I don't want Garth to feel like he's being attacked, like that's a dumb question. No, great question.
I'm sure a lot of people were wondering.
Oh gosh, yeah, great question. So I'm really glad he asked that. And so great question. And so we will, we'll allow him be the recipient of next week's giveaway for the product shout out. So
there you go.
See there. So we're right at an hour. So let's wrap this up.
All right. I'm going to couple little things. Again, next week is Lemonade Fest.
That's right.
Austin, Texas. Next week, April 16th through the 19th. And then also the week after that is Oak City Shred Fest, April 23rd through the 26th in Raleigh, North Carolina. You'll see me there.
North Carolina.
There. Maybe I'll interview
one of the most
people.
beautiful states in the nation.
Yeah, I'm going to bring all my gear, so I might do a couple
Famous
interviews.
Dave.
Famous Dave.
Like
there
the
we
barbecue
go. There we go. Would you ride this? I'm going to throw that on there. And this is not AI. This is a real deal. And you know what? Put in the comments, where do you think it's at? You might have seen it before. Maybe when you were a kid, you know. So also, check out Kyle Wong's new t-shirt. It's a Clydesdale t-shirt, and it's called the Chillest Big Boy. And it flew out of I think he sold everything in like in a couple hours.
Yeah.
I didn't get my hands on one.
Yeah, I didn't even see
pretty
it
cool.
before it sold out.
It is pretty cool.
That reminds me, I think it was, I'm trying to think of what department store here, maybe Kohl's or something. Anyway, a department store my wife and I were at had, up near the ceiling, they had these t-shirts on display, and they were only available in pink, only available in extra large to triple X. Mm-hmm. It was a pink t-shirt that in black lettering said, "Tough guys wear pink." And again, only available in XL, double XL, and triple XL. Tough guys wear pink. So kind of a cool shirt. So that's what the big boy shirt kind of
yeah, maybe next time when I'm traveling around Michigan, I'll stop and have my picture taken by a big boy, because they're still out there. They're a good place to eat, honestly. It's pretty cool. So hopefully you like episode 11. Keep it safe. Keep it clean. And Tanner, keep it in your seat. Keep it above board.
Talk to you next week, guys.
See you later.
Chasing soul, send it hard, a fix